right, so let's get started on the first one. I only have one on delta. All right, so if you can't open it right now, make sure you're writing this down on a piece of paper so you don't have to like think about the answers alone later on. Okay, so the first few are just, mere substitution. Yeah, you're going to find the value of y when x is substituted with a certain number. Okay, so for number one, you should be able to do these in your head. The first four maybe. So you're plugging in 81 for x. Okay, so you will get the square root of 81. What is the square root of 81? Very good. And then you're going to subtract 6. So what's your answer? 3. Yep. So, yeah, maybe the first 3 is going to be as simple as that. So why are we only getting positive square root? Yes, for this one, they're only looking for the positive square root, not the plus or the minus. So when do we use the positive and the negative square root? When you're solving equations. Yeah, but for here, if they didn't put like negative square root of 81, then just assume that you're only looking for the positive answer. Next, what's the final answer? You're going to plug in 121. Get the square root of that. What's the square root of 121? And then you're going to subtract 4. Final answer? 7. 7. Are you guys getting this? I just need to know that you're getting it. If you're lazy to like type in the chat, I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell whether you're getting it or not. I only have 2 people answering. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Okay, good. I just needed to know. Because although it sounds so simple, I want to make sure that, Okay, next one. Determine the value of y. This time, x is 95. Okay. Oh no, my writing thing is not working. So you plug in 95 first, but 95 is not a perfect square, right? Okay, but if you subtract 31 from 95, it will become 64. Yeah, so what's the final answer? It's 8. Very good, because 95 minus 31 is 64, and then you get the square root. That's perfect. All right. There you go. You see it right there. Okay, how many more of these? I don't know. Okay. Maybe this is the last one. Yep. 47. 47. So what's the final answer? Can I write now? Oh, okay. Final answer is 9. You guys agree with Alyssa? You guys agree with Alyssa? 9. All right, let's do that. 9. Because 47 plus 34 will become 81, right? Oh no, my thing froze. Okay, so submit answer, and there you go. All right. Oh no, my thing froze again. I have to, I don't know, maybe like, hang on. Because I submitted it and then it didn't go through. All right, there you go. 9. All right, and my thing is not calibrating. Okay, next section. Oh, now it's different. This time you have to solve for x. Yes. So how do we solve radical equations? Please write down the steps on your notebook. Yep, if you don't have a notebook, go grab your notebook. Okay. So first we have to isolate the radical expression. The radical expression. I don't have the little star for my drawing thing, so it's kind of hard. Okay. So isolate the radical expression, meaning all the constants have to be together on the right. Yep. And then after that, you have to square both sides to remove the radical sign. Yep. So square both sides to remove the radical sign. I know, it's coming out randomly because I don't have the little star to guide me. Okay. And then number 3, you have to solve for x. Solve for x, and this time it is mandatory that you do a quick check. Why? Because there are some radical equations that come up with 2 possible solutions, but one of them only makes the equation true. So you be careful with that. Okay, so let's try radical of 7x plus 43. The minus 3 is outside the radical. Okay. Alright, so first we have to move the constants over, right? So that will become radical 7x plus 43 equals 8. Yeah, because 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay, then after that, you are going, oh no, you are going to square both sides, because I'm guessing like where the ink would go. Okay, yep. And then you have to cancel the radical sign and the power 2. So you will bring down 7x plus 43 is equal to 64. Did you get that? So the reason why you need to separate the radical sign is so you can square it later and remove the square root. Oh, now from here, can you solve for x? Once, okay, I'm gonna reset my writing thing. Okay, can you solve for x from there? Yeah, just isolate the value of x, separate it by subtracting 43, and then whatever you get, you're gonna divide by 7. Alyssa said 3. What about the others? Let's try 3, if you agree. And 3 from Brian and Giselle also. Let's try 3. Oh, okay, and click yes. Very good. Yep, so subtract 43 and then it became 21. You divide by 7. So that's how you solve a radical equation. It's basically just, it's similar to finding x in a linear equation plus the extra step of squaring the radical. All right, let's clear the ink and work on another one. Next section. All right, can you try this while we said, oh, there it came out already. That's a star. My guiding star. Okay, so square root of 6x plus 69 plus 8 is equal to 17. All right. So remember, you have to isolate this. No matter how simple or complicated it is, it's going to be alone on one side. So move this guy over. It will become negative 8. Yep. So square root of 6x plus 69 equals 17 minus 8 is 9. Okay, then after, we're going to square both sides. Is it always a square? For square root equations, yes. But sometimes, later on, you can cube it. I got 2 as the final answer. All right, let's try. So 6x plus 69 is equal to 81, right? And then you subtract 69 from both sides. So that's 12. All right, so let's try 2. Good job, Brian. You're right. X is equal to 2. All right, are we getting it so far, guys? Is this topic easy? Do you find it easy? It's pretty straightforward, huh? Yeah, no fancy stuff. Okay, yeah. Right, next one. All right, can you try this? And tell me what answer you get. So move it first. Wow, you're fast, Brian. Okay. Brian got 9, Chris got 9. Alright, I'm not gonna try to keep up. You're way ahead. Keep going. Yeah. Okay, so anybody else got 9? Okay, let's try. 9. The mid answer. Yep. Okay, so you get 8 right here. And then you square both sides. So the radical in the power 2 disappears. Any questions? I know your classmates are, yeah, but do you have questions for me? If you already know what you're doing, don't let me slow you down. Keep going. I'm just making sure that our friends are getting it as well. Any questions about this? Because I didn't finish the solution. You see it there. You see it here though. But if you have specific questions, let me know. Okay. You just tell me to wait if you need me to slow down. Alright, now let me work on this because somebody just came in. So, good morning. We are solving square root functions. Yep, and to solve square root equations, you have to separate the radical sign. So that's why we're moving numbers to the right-hand side. So we keep this radical expression here, and then we move the 12 after 15. Yep. So 15 take away 12 is 3. And then we bring 8x plus 1 with the square root. Now, once this expression, the radical expression is by itself, you are now ready to square both sides. And the reason why we do that is so you can, remember my slingshot? Okay, so the radical can eliminate the power. And once you've eliminated the power 2, all you need to do is bring that down, and then 3 squared is 9. Okay, and then from here, it's just like, the very first chapter we did last semester. You're going to bring the 1 over, so take away 1. So 8x is equal to 8. So after that, x is equal to, when you divide both sides by 8, you get x is equal to 1. Very good, Chris. We got the same answer. Alright, so some of you just came in. Let me know if you were able to kind of get it from that example. And yes, we are already on the, I don't know, number 8. Oh, I think I gave too little for you today. Okay. Yep. So let me know if you have questions. Now let's move on to the second to the last one. Ooh, look at that. This is so much nicer now. Alright, equals x minus 10. Yeah, I was trying to find more of these, but yeah, I could only find a few. All right. So square root of 52 minus 6x is equal to x minus 10. First question, do I have to move this x to the left? Yes or no? Do I have to move? No, very good, Brian, because it doesn't have a radical. So we're separating the radicals and the non-radicals. Very good. So it has to stay there even if it is an x. Okay, so by default, we have already separated the radical signs. So from here, we are ready to square both sides. But now, look at the right-hand side. It's going to become more interesting. You see that? I love it. All right, so now the radical and the power 2 will be taken out. So bring down 52, take away 6x. Ooh, I would give you some wait time for that one. Can you give me the answer to the right side? What is x minus 10 to the power 2? How am I going to write that? Anybody? X squared plus 100. Partially right. Partially right. Very good, Brian. Can you write that down publicly, Brian? Can you copy and then paste it publicly, not DM? Yes! Remember that? If you do your box method, it's going to be x squared minus 20x plus 100. Okay, so let's pause there. It's time that you memorize some shortcuts because that's like from 3 chapters ago, right? If you're squaring something like this, you're anticipating a trinomial. Yeah. So the first one is a squared, the last one is b squared. How do you get the middle one? You make your McDonald's. I call this the McDonald's. So it's 2 times this times the variable. So it's going to be twice AB. How do you know which signs you're going to use? The middle sign takes the sign of the problem, and this is always positive. So if you use that, this is Brian's x squared, this is Brian's 10 squared, change it to positive, because negative 10 times negative 10 is positive 100, right? If that's negative, this is negative, and then now you do your McDonald's. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 times x is 20. X. Okay. Now, the same is true when you have a minus b squared. So square the first, square the last, because it's always positive, right? You bring down the sign and then do the McDonald's. 2 times b times a is 2ab. However, when you have something like this is different. What's the answer to this? Can you tell me? Just a side note. Yeah, we don't need it in the lesson today, but how about this? What's the answer to this? That's a difference of 2 squares, remember? So how many answers you're expecting? You're only expecting 2, just a binomial. So what's the answer? Then we can continue with the question. What's the answer? Very good. X squared minus 16. That's the one that will become a binomial. Why? Because when you do the box method, that's the one that cancels out. Negative 4x, positive 4x, negative 16. So these two will cancel out. If you're not sure Of course, the box method will help, but when you go to geometry in Algebra 2, you're, yes, you're expected to be able to do that even without using the box method. Okay, so yes, we need, in my geometry class, we're using those um, quadratics also. Okay, so now that this is a quadratic, how do you solve a quadratic equation? What did we learn last time? Do we separate the x or we put them all together on one side? If you're solving a quadratic equation, yeah, you have to empty one side, right? You're gonna move everything. Remember, in the project that you did on your foldable, the right-hand side has to be 0 for most of them. So let's arrange them. I think to keep x squared, I'll just move all of these to the right, yeah, and place the 0 on the left. So yes, so this is x squared, and as you arrange them, make sure they are in standard form. Yep, so the negative 6x will become positive 6x right there, and the positive 52 will become negative 52 right here. So when you arrange them, you have x squared minus 14x and then plus 48. Yes. Did we get that right? Were you able to follow? So one more time, when you're solving quadratic, you have to move everything to one side and let the other side be 0. Okay, so now if you created your foldable, what are the methods you can pick from? There's 4 of them. You factor or graph. Factor meaning what? X method, You can do the square root method, but it's best for binomials. This is not a binomial, so no square root method. We can complete the square, which is very seldom used because it takes a lot of process. And the last one is the quadratic formula, which works for all. Okay, so your go-to method, especially in geometry, because we're expecting whole numbers in geometry, whole and rational, fractions, must be factoring. So you always must try to factor it first. That's why that's the first method on your flipper. Try to factor it. If it's not factorable, then do the quadratic formula. Yes. When do you use the square root? If it's a binomial, but it's not. Okay, so is this factorable? Yes or no? Is this factorable? Yes or no? What do I mean by that? Well, you can do your x method if you want, but you know, the x method, right? You put 48 over there and the negative 14 right here. So you can do that. Okay, or just think of two numbers that multiply to 48, and when you add or subtract, you get negative 14. What are they? What are they? Oops. What two numbers multiply to 48? When you add them, they become negative 14. 4 and 12. Okay, yeah, that works. 12 and 4, but if I add them, they become negative 16. So works for 48, but not for 14. Let's try again. Another combination. Negative 6 and negative 8. Oh, if you multiply them, 8 times 6 is 48. When you add them, oh yeah, you get 14. You see that? Okay, so even without the X method, you can do it. Yeah, I just taught you the X method before to teach you some structures and how we're getting them. But as you become better at it, look at you now. You're just, thinking of numbers. Okay, that's good. So then that means we are going to write this as 0 equals x minus 8 and then x minus 6. Okay, and then I taught you the shortcut, right? You get the opposite from each one. So what are the possible answers? X is equal to 8 and x is equal to 6. Hey, honey. Thank you. Okay, so, but just like what I mentioned earlier, square root functions are deceiving. They might show you that they have two answers, but some of them only have one. So we have to check in the original equation. Okay, how? Well, we're just gonna plug in, Yeah, like very quick. So this is 52 minus, let's try 8. 6 times 8 is 48. Yep. Okay. So 52 minus 48 is 4. So you get the square root of that. And all these, you can do it in your head. You don't have to write it down. I'm just explaining so we don't get lost. So square root of 4 is 2. Yeah? Okay, now let's plug in the 8 over here. 8 minus 10 is what? That's negative 2. So are they the same? Are they the same? This is positive 2, that's negative 2. That's false, right? Uh-huh. Okay, let's try again. Suppose I have, wait, so 52, that's for the, what did I plug in there? 8, right? Okay. Now let's plug in 6. So 52 minus 6 times 6 is 36. So what is that? Mm-hmm. Square root of 16, right? Okay. Then 6 minus 10 is negative 4. So square root of that is 4. Why are both coming out to be wrong? Or is it accepting all? Okay. I know. Okay, let's try. Yep. So let's try to put them in. 8 and 6. Oh my god. See? Because both came out to be false. So what am I gonna do here? How do I put it if there's no solution? Back. How do I put no solution in delta math? Do you know how? Because both turned out to be false. So I don't know. 0, no solution. What have you tried? Yeah, both turned out to be false. How do you put no solution here? Okay, how can I see it? Oh, this one. You cannot press. Please keep trying to answer these questions. Let's look at this. I don't know how it accepts no solution. But this one has. This one has a solution. This is throwing me off also. Original problem. Well, let's see another example. I need to know how to put in no solution. Oh, there! Final solution. Oh, the brackets. Jesus Christ. So I put a bracket, like bracket, press the plus or minus button to add, remove solution. Jesus Christ. Just submit. I didn't know you could use this one. If you put plus, it gives you an answer. If you put minus, yeah. Okay. Submit. There you go. I learned something new. Yeah, but you saw what we did, right? So we got these two answers, 6 and 8, but none of them work. Yep. Because the left hand sides and the right hand sides are not equal. Yeah, so, well, on paper, we're going to say no solution. But it didn't know how to put no solution in delta. Okay, so it turned out you have to use that minus sign on the right hand side. Alright, well, let's try. How do you, when you just submitted it, like, what happened? Did it mark it wrong, Alyssa? Oh, it worked? So you didn't put anything? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. All right. Next one. 7x plus 4. I know. I knew the math, but I didn't know the delta part of it. Okay, so x plus 8. It's okay. Me? No, it's my first time to use delta this year. Yeah. Yeah, then I suggested it to the math teachers, so yeah. So now their students are blaming me. Okay, so yeah, so now yeah, they're doing it. I don't know, I love it. Like it gives students immediate feedback about their answers. Okay, so here we go. And me too. See, I didn't know that I could do that in Delta Math. All right, press the minus button. So square both sides because they are already separated. You bring down 7x plus 46. Oh, look at that. Try it. Try that one. Remember the shortcut I taught you? The McDonald's in the middle? Do it. X squared plus 16x plus 64. Look at you! Now you're doing it in your head, huh? That's great. Okay, so now let's arrange all of them so one side will be 0. So the 7x gets subtracted here, and the 46 gets subtracted here. Okay, so what would that be? X squared minus 9x plus, how much is that? 18? Uh-huh. All right. Now, do you think that's factorable? Can you think of two numbers that multiply to 18? But, oh, you're right. It's 9x positive. My bad, because the bigger sign, the 16 is bigger. Thanks for catching that before we proceed. All right. Now, find two numbers that multiply to 18, but when you add or subtract, they become 9. 6 and 3. All right, so once you get the hang of it, you can just put x plus 6, x plus 3, right? Yeah, so when you get used to it, the solutions become shorter and shorter. So 6 times 3 is 18, and then 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, so then you get the opposite from each. So x is equal to negative 6, and x is equal to negative 3. Now we're going to try again. Yep, we have to try again. So if this is negative 6 plus 8, then this becomes 2. Now I have to get 2 on the other side. So if I put negative 6 here, that will be negative 42 plus 46, which is the square root of 4, so 2 is equal to 2. So we will accept negative 6 as an answer, right? Okay, but what if you have negative 3? We gotta try again. So if this is negative 3 plus 8 is 5. Do we get 5 over here? So this is negative 3. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21 plus 46. Would that be 25? Square root of 25 is 5, so 5 is equal to 5. So both work. So this time, yep, both of them work. So earlier none worked. So let's write down the answer. Negative 6, comma, negative 3. And there you go. So be very careful with square roots because they're deceiving. When you solve it, looks like, you're done, but when you plug it in, some may have one, some may have two solutions, some may have none. Just like the one that we had to figure out earlier. Yeah, already. So that was the last one, right? Yes. Okay, so Make sure you guys finish that. Turn it in. I will, yes. I need to catch up on grading your stuff. Yeah, because there's a lot of people doing their makeup work, and I'm so happy about that. Yes. Well, I'm anticipating you will also have some time during the finals week to do some makeup work because, yeah, we're done with our lessons in 2 weeks. Okay. All right. I know. Oh, we finished early today. We're supposed to end at 10:30. Well, what am I gonna do? We finished it. Okay, you guys, do you have some questions for me? Do you have some questions for me? What was the answer for the last one? It was -6 and -3. Both of them. So you have to put -6 and then comma and then -3. -3. Uh-huh. All right. And while you have some time, yeah, like start organizing your math, your Google Drive. Put all the math stuff like in one folder, so when you're looking for your project, you can easily find them. Or go through Schoology. Yeah, go through Schoology and look at all the stuff that you turned in. Yeah, and I will try to finish the write up this weekend so I can send that to you next week. All right, please sign in if you haven't. And if you got no more questions for me,